program. And just a quick note for any members of the press. We ask that we will designate a time for questions. We ask that you please just use the raise your hand feature. And I will be able to open up your microphone so that you can ask your question. And when you do, please identify yourself and your publication or media outlet. If you have questions along the way, feel free to use the Q&A function and we will address that when we have the chance. Right now, it is a privilege to be able to introduce Senator John Brooks.
Good morning, everybody. And it is a good morning because today we're going to take the time to talk about a program that has been highly successful and one that we've been able to expand on a growing basis over the last couple of years. Both houses of the legislature in the last 4 or 5 years have put more and more attention to the needs of our veterans. And one of the programs that was introduced some time back was the Dwyer program, which is a peer-to-peer program which has enjoyed continued and growing success and growth across the state. Today, we're going to have an opportunity to talk about the program more, give you some additional information, let some people take a much deserved bow for what they've done within their communities for the program. I think we all understand we owe so much to our veterans. Last night in the State of the Union address, the president recognized that fact, that we need to thank these individuals and also to address their needs. And we know last night the president made some remarks with regards to the burn pits and some of the problems that some of the veterans are seeing from that. It's something we have to look at. But today we have an opportunity to spend some time talking about the Dwyer program across our state. I'm joined with the chair of the Veterans Committee from the New York State Assembly, Assemblywoman Barrett, who has done just a great job in her house, bringing veterans issues forward, getting them passed together. We're trying to elevate the position of veteran services in our state to recognize we've got about 800,000 veterans in our state, and we need to give them the attention and service they deserve. We're trying to elevate this department, but we continue to work on expanding various veterans programs. And one of the great successes is the Dwyer program, a peer-to-peer program that has shown itself to be very effective. We've seen reductions in the horrible problems we have associated with suicide as a result of the veterans program. I think it is probably one of the most loved programs in Albany right now. And when it comes to the budget, everybody and their brother wants to put more money into the veterans program. We're going to have an opportunity for some of our fellow members of the legislature to comment also as you go from that. But at this time, I'd like to introduce Assemblywoman Barrett and thank her for the leadership that she's provided and as we expand and grow the veterans program in our state. Dee Dee?
Thank you, Senator Brooks. It's just been a great pleasure working with you, and thank you for your leadership in your house. And I think we've done some pretty special things, and this next step in elevating the division to a department hopefully will be just an overdue but really crowning accomplishment for all of us, particularly for our veteran communities. So it's been my greatest honor to chair this Assembly Committee on Veterans Affairs for the last 4 years, and advocating for the PFC Joseph P. Dwyer Vet program and expanding it across the state has been one of my highest priorities. In fact, in the 4 years that I've chaired this committee, we've increased the funding, and we've added 15 counties to those that are eligible and have been identified to be able to offer Dwyer chapters, including, in addition, the 5 boroughs of New York City, which had not been part of the original Dwyer community. And this year, I'm very pleased, and I know a lot of us called for this. The governor put Dwyer funding in the executive proposal. It's the first time that's happened. In the past, it's been a bargaining chip, and we had to explain to constituents and veteran families across the state what a legislative ad is, which is not something that anyone should. It's inside baseball that our communities and certainly our veterans should not have to worry about. And we know that this model of non-clinical support and assistance for veterans struggling with PTSD, traumatic brain injury, and other mental challenges, other social challenges, really works. And I was pleased. In fact, also last night, the senator mentioned the president's State of the Union, but he also mentioned parity for mental health and behavior and physical health as a priority. And that there's a constitutional amendment that Senator Reichlin-Milnick and I both carry, and to have the president identify and recognize that, because this is the work we do with our veterans, to me, is really the opportunity to then open up these treatment modes and this acceptance and the destigmatizing of mental health issues to the rest of the country. So I also particularly want to urge all of you involved, and thank you for all the work you're doing. You are on the ground. You understand the experience and the knowledge in these Dwyer programs. And you should be helping to inform what the governor and her team do when they expand this program statewide. So I know we've had conversations with Gavin and Kevin and the We Are Dwyer group, and I hope all of you will help participate in informing how we want this program to look when it goes statewide. That should be coming from you. That shouldn't be coming from the top down. So it's now my great pleasure to introduce the man who pulled everybody together and spearheaded this statewide Dwyer convening, and that is Gavin Walters, an Air Force veteran and director of Vet to Vet of Ulster County, across the river from my district. He's a father and a husband. He received his master's in social work and now helps our community with Hudson Valley NCVR through the Joseph B. Dwyer program. So thank you, Gavin, for your leadership, for your spiritual leadership, as well as your practical leadership, and for helping all of us do the work that we really want to get done in New York State. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone, and good morning. Thank you, Senator Barrett, and thank you, everyone, for being present today. And a large thank you to Senator Brooks's office, who was able to help put this all together in such a short time frame. A special thank you to our military community that continues to help those in need. The Joseph B. Dwyer program is a 100% confidential and free program. The program provides non-clinical support and advocacy to the military community, as well as their families, by connecting them to resources such as food pantry, housing assistance by helping them out of homelessness, connected them to benefits by working with local community resources such as the veteran service agencies who facilitate some of these Dwyer programs, and many more. Discharge status, length of service, and your role in the armed forces doesn't disqualify you from these programs. Whether someone is seeking advocacy, looking to connect and engage with their local military community, the Dwyer program has helped them. And with that said, I want to just share some data as to why we do what we do. In 2020, there were an estimated 2.3 million individuals serving in our armed forces and 18 million veterans. Now it is estimated that annually over 37,000, that's 37,000 veterans are homeless. In 2018, there was over 20,000 reported military sexual trauma, 13,000 women and 7,500 men, and about 6,000. And these are numbers that doesn't equate to all the veterans and service members that are experiencing this. 6,000 veterans are committing suicide annually. That's astonishing. But these are just some of the things that we're experiencing, just a fraction of the things we're working to address. So what is being done to combat these issues? When we say one is too much, but we see thousands, well, my friends and family, today, you'll hear a testimony of 5 veterans that have walked in many of our shoes. You'll hear understand why the current 25 state Joseph B. Dwyer programs have been successful and why these 25 counties continue to have a major impact on the New York State military community. But before I introduce everyone, I just want to say that we're going to share a short video. So I hope you're able to enjoy it.
Time and again, we see the true strength of the people of New York emerge in the face of adversity. When challenged with hardship, we come together, unified, to confront the problem and help those around us who are left suffering and in need. This New York resolve reassures us that we are all not alone and reminds us that we have limitless strength when we look out for our neighbors. Since 2012, the Dwyer Project, first piloted on Long Island, has done just that for the many thousands of veterans in the state of New York. Many veterans face extreme hardships after returning home, including PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and TBIs, traumatic brain injuries. For many, conditions like these can lead to a very difficult time readjusting to civilian life. Through peer-to-peer counseling, the Dwyer Project has helped to decrease veteran suicide rates and enable veterans to lead healthy and fulfilled lives in spite of the trauma they may have experienced while on active duty. The Dwyer Project has been a major success and has expanded its reach across Long Island to upstate New York, with plans to become present nationwide. The Dwyer Project's stated mission is to assist veterans, service members, and their families to achieve and sustain personal health, wellness, and purpose in their post-service lives through the support of trained veteran peers. The program has not only saved hundreds of lives through its foundational one-to-one therapeutic counseling by peers, but has also successfully worked to combat joblessness, homelessness, and poverty for New York veterans. The Dwyer Project also functions as a resource center for counties in which it is present, connecting veterans to resources such as local food pantries, community meals, group-style support sessions, assistance with employment and housing, and more. To provide any one of these services would be of great benefit, but it is the coordinated, compassionate delivery of all these services together that make the Dwyer Project so impactful in assisting our state's veterans in the transition from military to civilian life. As a core principle, all services provided by the program are confidential and free of charge to all veterans, regardless of discharge status. Before expanding to over 20 counties in the last 10 years, the Dwyer Project was founded as a small program in Suffolk, Rensselaer, Saratoga, and Jefferson counties in honor of a beloved Suffolk County veteran who tragically passed away. On September 13, 2001, just 2 days after the attacks on 9/11, Joseph Patrick Dwyer of Suffolk County enlisted in the military as a U.S. Army medic. The call to action brought Joseph P. Dwyer to Iraq, where he gained instant notoriety for the compassionate photo of him holding an injured child from Baghdad. Joseph P. Dwyer returned home 7 years later, and as a result of his struggles transitioning back to civilian life, passed away shortly after. According to his wife, he experienced symptoms of PTSD after returning home from Iraq. Soon after his death, the Joseph P. Dwyer Project was started to help discharged veterans connect with fellow veterans in an effort to alleviate the shock of returning to civilian life and cope with their experience while on active duty. The Dwyer Project has since been proven extremely effective and now has a presence helping to prevent veteran suicide in counties all over New York State, from Suffolk to Chautauqua County. The veteran suicide rate caused by PTSD is staggering. At times, veterans feel overwhelmed with the difficult transition from their military identities to their civilian identities, and have frequently reported feeling alone.
I saw she was on that after I saw
Many
that.
veterans don't feel comfortable discussing traumatic experiences with those who have no similar background or basis for understanding. Many find themselves more able to work through their daily trauma with veterans trained in military behavioral health who can personally understand what they went through. This approach can be a breakthrough to processing complicated emotions and beginning them on a positive path toward recovery. The Dwyer Project's mission to promote the well-being of our veterans has been incredibly successful, being directly correlated with lower suicide rates. Beyond peer-to-peer support and all the resources it provides, The Dwyer Project helps veterans find purpose at a time when their lives are drastically changing. The availability of this support is what we owe our veterans. The Dwyer Project is for the men and women who dedicate their lives to serving our country to know that we are forever grateful for their sacrifice and that they deserve to be safe, happy, and healthy when they return back home.
Thank you. And now the participants that you'll hear from next will represent the 25 counties that received their grants in 5 separate years. In 2012, 4 counties piloted the Dwyer program, and Daniel Colomers, Army veteran from Suffolk County, will share her testimony. In 2014, 7 counties received the Dwyer grant, and Mike Green, Army veteran from Nassau County, will represent them. In 2015, 5 counties received the Dwyer grant, and Allison Moore, Air Force veteran from Niagara County, will share her testimony. And also that program facilitates Erie County as well. In 2018, 7 counties received the Dwyer grant, and Donna O'Leary, Coast Guard veteran from Columbia County, will share her testimony as well. And finally, in 2020, 2 counties received the Dwyer grant, and Jessica Bugby, Army veteran from Ulster County, will share her 3 words. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining this really important webinar about veterans and the care that we need and the specialized care that we deserve. I started as a peer. I started really within the peer realm of peer-to-peer support back in 2016 when I got back out. I got out of the Army in 2015. I had met Sharon Chambers Murphy a little bit after my undergrad. She was doing social work, I was doing art therapy, and we had interacted a little bit through school. And then years later, I got a random phone call from her to join a women's group. And at the time, I wasn't really into groups. I didn't think I'd be having any good input for it. But to my shock, it had become and grew to be the most important group that I had ever been a part of. Professionally, making immense mentorships that have brought me so far in my goals, meeting these wonderful women who have had such hard experiences that we share together throughout generations and throughout different types of services, made it so impactful for me to know that I wasn't alone in my journey. I was a military police officer. I'm an MST survivor, and to know that I'm in a place that's safe and I'm in a place where I'm supported, that there's not the knee-jerk reaction of, can you explain this? Or I don't understand. And just look at someone who knows exactly what I've been through without having to really tell and re-trigger myself and re-traumatize the room with things. Just by telling little stories here and there can be so healing, just to let it out and be held in a space where you feel not judged by mistakes that you may have done just to get the mission through, and to be welcomed in a space where everyone wants the best for you and wants you to improve and get better, and know that every day is a struggle, and we combat this not only our past, but we have struggles in our future that, you know, every day feels like war sometimes, and you could call on anyone and they would pick up the phone and know where you are and meet you where you're at, and not try to be anything more than what you can handle is, you know, amazing, and got me exactly where I needed to be. And I'm so grateful for her and the Dwyer Project.
Gavin, would you like to introduce our next speaker?
Yes, absolutely. Mike Green, Army veteran from Nassau County.
Good morning, everyone. What I'd like to talk about right now is the closeness about the group. And well, going back to me, I retired May 31st, 2015. I was at an appointment at Northport VA, and I had another veteran. I guess they saw something in me or something that they detected. And that's one of the things about the group, that peer-to-peer, that military association about, we can identify each other, even some of the unspoken words. She said, hey, there's a group that I want you to join. I brushed her off and I just didn't pay attention to it for the first few times. And what the thing that was so gripping to me about the group is the accountability of everybody. Everybody pretty much do their own conversations and just sitting there listening. They don't rush you. They don't push you into any talk about your experience. And they just let you sit there and listen. As you listen, you find that there's things that you don't know what you don't know. You operate in an environment, well, I can only talk about the Marine Corps and the Army, because that's when I served for 25 years. And you operate in an environment that's at a tempo that's not normal to civilian life, if I can explain that. It becomes so much of a normal part of your life that you don't understand that there's things that do not connect when you leave the military and you enter civilian life. And that's either when you're operating in a regular work environment, family life, those things that you needed to be successful in the military, or whatever you did in the military, does not carry over and is not conducive to a healthy relationship or healthy life when you leave the military. So with the group and what I saw with a lot of the Vietnam veterans that were there, having the same experiences, some Gulf War vets, and it makes you understand that the hypervigilance they talk about, the sleeplessness, you don't have to push through and suck it up anymore. These things are things that you need to address now and let go. You don't have to operate like that anymore. So pretty much it's just an awareness of now where you are from where you had to operate, because that is what the military does. For us to fight and win, we have to operate this way. And that's, and 99.9% of the veterans will tell you, we know this, we accept this, this is how we operate. But when we leave this area of operation and we transfer over to the next, we need to de-escalate. We need to tone it down and accept sometimes too that, hey, this is our new life, this is our new normal, and you operate at a different level now.
Thank you, Mike. Next, we'd like to introduce Air Force veteran Allison Moore.
Can you hear me? Am
Yes,
I
we can.
unmuted? Okay, I'm Allison Moore, Air Force veteran, law enforcement. I served 92 to 95. I am an MST survivor, went through the women's PTSD program. I'm in a better space now. I was a social loner until another veteran invited me to join the Dwyer group. I started out with a hike, and then I went to another hike, and then I got introduced to going through a week program through Higher Ground with my partner to learn how to handle PTSD. I was social loner. I literally went to work and then went home and stayed in my house. The Dwyer group has really opened me up. I have friends now. I'm not so enclosed. The Dwyer group has helped me actually gain a lot of strength that I lost through the years from the traumas I had gone through. And without the Dwyer group, I wouldn't be where I'm at. I went from homelessness to owning my own house and having a dog. Without peer-to-peer networking, I would not have survived. I would have just been where I was 5 years ago. So the Dwyer group is really important to me. I actually gain a lot of power or strength in me that I didn't have. And I hosted my own event for making Christmas candy chocolates. And the satisfaction I got out of letting the Dwyer organization allowing me to step out of my boundaries and host that was absolutely amazing. I'm proud to say that I am a part of the Dwyer organization. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison, very much for sharing your story with us. Next, I'd like to introduce Coast Guard veteran Dana O'Leary.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dana O'Leary. I'm from Chatham, New York. It's a small town, one stoplight. I enlisted when I was 17. I had really no idea what I was signing up for. I was the only female in the engineering department. Didn't even know what a wrench was when I was there, but I learned quickly how to navigate through that. I was also the youngest active duty member at my first duty station. I was told it was the old guard. So I figured out how to navigate a fully male dominated division, which I really was not prepared to do, but I adapted and overcame circumstances there. I'm also an MST survivor. The program that Gary Flaherty runs has literally saved my life. Without it, I wouldn't be here. When I completed my military obligation and came back to Columbia County, I felt like a fish out of water. I was not fully prepared for reentry back into mainstream society. I was told by the military, the VA, that I was not considered a veteran. I assumed it was because I was a female. I did reach out to the VA back then, but did not hear anything. Fast forward to about 2014, I had an event in my life which caused a great setback in my life, and I actually met Gary Flaherty's wife, Tammy, God rest her soul, and Gary Flaherty, who advocated for me, and I can't thank him enough. There are so many veterans, military families, children of vets, widows, widowers that struggle every day with the effects of their military service, and it really changes a person's health and well-being and livelihood. And there should not be at least 22 veterans that commit suicide every day. PTSD, formerly referred to as shell shock, TBI, these conditions are affect one's physiology and our physical conditions. And as Dee Dee Barrett said, destigmatizing these labels is really important. I think it's paramount today, given what's happening overseas, that we continue the funding for these programs. And the Joseph Patrick Dwyer program literally saved my life. I can't say that enough. So thank you to Gary Flaherty and everybody on his team. I'm very grateful for my role in helping other veterans, and also the High and Mighty Horse program, the therapeutic equine program is very helpful to so many people. And I've met a lot of other veterans from different generations. And I think talking to different veterans who've served in different eras, different wartime eras, is really important, because we can learn so much from Vietnam veterans who really came home to it's just unspeakable what they came home to. So I just want to thank everybody for inviting me to speak, and thank you to everybody for their service.
Thank you, Dana, very much for that very moving testimony. Up next, I'd like to introduce Army veteran Jessica Bugbee.
Hi, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone here, and thank you to my comrades for sharing their stories. Yes, I'm an Army combat medic. I left the Army in 2007. I served for 7 years in both Iraq and Afghanistan, and I am a disabled, decorated combat veteran. I left with many accolades, but I also left with many wounds that were invisible, even invisible to myself. And later I woke up to, struggling with PTSD, MST, domestic violence, moral injury, survivor's guilt. And, all of that led to depression, anxiety, isolation, anger, and substance use abuse. And anger was one of the biggest things that masked everything. And that was probably the loudest that screamed. And unfortunately, the people that were closest to me, that's what they saw. And on the outside, everyone saw this bubbly personality, but, hidden behind closed doors, what everyone that was closest to me, they saw, all of what I just, expressed, that anxiety, that depression, jobs that I tried for, a period of 6 years before I really truly got the help. I had courage to ask for help. And that's when I utilized these programs. But, this military life, it is just that. It is not a career. It is actually a lifestyle. It affects the family that lives with that military member and the, the outside family as well, grandparents, cousins, those that are friends. So, it's not just us that, we're talking about, it's also the external as well. So I left and I thought I had a plan. I lived right outside of West Point, and I was married to a military member, and he retired as well. What did we do? We joined the fire department. So we just kind of went into those leadership roles, and it masked a lot of what was going on for me. And as I said, I just kind of kept on and kept going until finally I broke, and I exhausted myself. I ended up looking around me though, and I thought everybody else kind of was the problem. And so I went out and got help for everybody else. I went through the Rockland Vet to Vet program and became a peer. I went through ProVetis, which is now the ETS sponsorship program. I did that, through here, the Ulster County Vet to Vet. I went through many different programs, thanks to Larry Newman, leading the way with the Hudson Valley Veteran Task Force, Play for Your Freedom, equine therapy, Squirrelwood, Barbara Giordano, women's veteran workshops. And me too, I went to the VA and I didn't have a great experience, but I can now say that I have changed the narrative in my head, and I have had great experiences with the VA. And, the whole health program, I'm a big proponent of that. I've been able to volunteer through that, through my own personal skills that I have, health coaching, yoga, all sorts of different things. But the biggest thing that I have to say is that, I felt alone, and by not, speaking, by not telling my story, by not asking other comrades what, is going on inside of them, we didn't share what was going on. And so I didn't know what was going on with anybody else. And I just kept it all inside, and I just continued to hurt myself. I continued to shove it down. And so, like I said, when I finally broke, that's when I asked for help. And that's when I came to, the peer-to-peer program. And I met Gavin Walters here, and I think we all know who he is, through United Way, Hope for Heroes, Veterans Bridging Communities. And from then on, Gavin and I became friends, and it's like kindred spirits. We all heard the other veterans talking about it. And so you see one, and you just, there's a soul connection there. And there's something magical that happens when one veteran sits down with another veteran. It's like these 12-step programs. You don't really know how it works, but it just works. And so if something's not broken, why try and, recreate it or fix it? So, the groups that we have here at Vet to Vet, they're beautiful, they're magical. You have 40 years difference between people that come in and they share their stories of, anger and sadness and grief and hurt and happiness and joy, and we're all helping each other. And it's just a beautiful thing. So I employ you, to continue on with these programs and to spread the wealth around. So thank you so much for listening and taking the time.
Thank you, Jessica, very much for sharing your story. Folks, with the media, just want to let you know that all this testimony will be accessible to you after the fact. I'm putting my email in the chat right now, so you can follow up with me if you'd like, and we will be making it available to the public. Right now, I would like to introduce some of our elected officials who have worked very, very hard in their careers for the sake of veterans. First off, Senator Pete Harcum.
Thank you very much, Joe. Good afternoon, everybody, or still morning, I gather. I really want to, first of all and foremost, thank all of our vets who testified today for your courage and for sharing your story and for your service. And that's exactly the point. One vet sharing their story to another vet. And that's why this program is so successful. I chair the Committee on Alcoholism and Substance Abuse, and we see the peer bond on a daily basis. We see the peer bond when it comes to cancer. We see the peer bond in mental health. The peer bond is becoming such a powerful transformative tool, and that's why the Dwyer program is so effective. The other reason it's so effective is this is a one state-funded program that doesn't have a lot of top-down restrictions, that every county can run it in its own way, dealing with the unique needs on the ground in that particular county. And I want to personally thank John Borges, who taught me so much about the Dwyer program from Putnam County. And this is something that we need to continue to expand, to enhance, because it's saving lives, as you've heard here today. And once again, thank you to all our veterans, and thank you to Chairs Brooks and Barrett and all my colleagues from government from both sides of the aisle who are here today. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Senator James Sanders, are you with us today? I know you were here earlier. We'll pause for that. It is a privilege to be able to introduce Senator Michelle Hinchey.
Thank you very much, Joe. And thank you to Senator Brooks and Assemblymember Barrett for your leadership in this space. But first and foremost, I echo the comments of my colleague, Senator Harcum. Thank you to all of the incredibly brave and courageous and thoughtful veterans who shared your story here with us today. It's personal stories like yours that are so important to get out, not only because it helps, as I know was mentioned earlier, destigmatize what we need to do, but also helps prove how important and effective the Dwyer program is. And it gives all of us the push and the information to continue to fight for it at the state level, and to make sure that we can not only continue to expand it county to county, we are fighting to expand it into Greene County, but we should not be having to do this county by county. This should be something that is just offered across the state. We have so much more work to do for our veterans on behalf of the federal government, the state government. I apologize, because we need to be doing better to support our veterans when you all return home, and our service members when they return home, both veterans and active duty. We have really failed. Not at the, many people on this call have been really working for this forever, but we have so much more to do. And this Dwyer program is profoundly important. So thank you all for being such incredible advocates for your peers, because everybody needs the service. And I want to give also a special shout out to Kevin Keaveney and Gavin Walters, everyone at the Center for Hudson Valley, the Hudson Valley Center for Veteran Reintegration. The work that all of you do, I'm incredibly proud. You are based in Ulster County, but that doesn't, you have no barriers. Your work transcends county line, and you are all really leading the way, making sure that everyone has access to the services and the resources that they need. So thank you for that work. We could not do it without you. And everyone on this call, please count us as your allies in this. We will continue to fight at the state level to make sure that we are doing better and that the Dwyer program continues to thrive and expand so that everyone has access to these incredibly important services. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. I would now like to introduce Senator Samara Group. Senator, are you with us?
She had another meeting, I think.
Did she?
put
Okay,
her
I know that
comment
she
in
made,
the chat.
yeah, she did make a lot of posts and comments, and we'll follow up with her. Thank you. And now it's a pleasure to be able to introduce Senator Alexis White.
Thank you so much. And as a member of the Veterans Committee, I appreciate being here today. And I want to thank all of our veterans who are sharing their story today. Your bravery and courage is truly an inspiration to make sure that we fight even harder every year for this program. The Joseph P. Dwyer program was named in honor of a true American hero from my area on Long Island. And it brings veterans and service members and family members together to heal the invisible wounds, including the post-traumatic stress injury and traumatic brain injury that we see so often. It was first championed by another Army veteran that I know so well, my predecessor, now Congressman Lee Zeldin, in 2012. And as a joint partnership between the Suffolk County United Veterans Program and the Suffolk County Veterans Service Agency, I'm so proud to represent Suffolk County, home to the largest population of military veterans in our state. The Joseph P. Dwyer program, Joseph P. Dwyer was an Army medic during the Iraq War. And when he returned home a few years later, he became another casualty of our war, consumed by combat experience. He suffered from post-traumatic stress injury and depression, and he lost his battle at the age of 31. Joseph P. Dwyer program is a tribute to him and a promise to all of our veterans that New York State will never forget the service and the sacrifice that you all have for us. And I applaud the ongoing efforts to expand the Dwyer program. The program has already helped thousands of veterans and promises to help every veteran for years to come. And another thing that we try to be pushing for last year and this year is to try to make this a permanent part of the budget so that we don't have to have our veterans pandering trying to get funding. Not only should the program be expanded, but it should be permanently funded so that our veterans have that promise moving forward. And so I'm just proud to support our veterans, and I thank you all for your service. God bless you all.
Thank you, Senator. I would like to acknowledge the presence, support, and incredible work that is done by Senator Elijah Reichman-Melnick and Senator Daphne Jordan, who are here, who were able to attend at different points today, but were unable to speak. And then I would like to introduce Assemblymember Jake Ashby.
I thank you everyone for being here. I'm Assemblyman Jake Ashby. I'm the ranker on the Assembly Veterans Committee. I want to thank the chairs Barrett and Brooks, and most of all, I want to thank all of the veterans that are here participating in this. And really participating in this press conference is one thing, but what you do every day for our veterans and their families is making a profound difference. And I know that you all know that. That's why you do it, and that's why you give so much. And I know that it's not easy sometimes over the past couple years with the pandemic and everything going on. That's presented a number of challenges. But I know that many of the legislators that are on this call are dedicated to improving the lives of veterans and their families. On the peer-to-peer portion of it, I can speak to this personally. I deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan. I spent some time in Africa, and when I got out, it was not easy, and I needed help. And the clinicians were very helpful, but really what it was that brought me around was peer-to-peer. It was a retired command sergeant major down in Texas who helped me believe in myself again. And there was significant struggle involved, as there is with anything meaningful in your life. But it was through that peer-to-peer counseling, and it was through those relationships that were built with other veterans that really helped me and my family. And so to see so many veterans throughout the state that are displaying this incredible dedication to their veterans and really bearing the burdens of their own hardships, but using that to fuel being helpful towards others. And you know, the veterans that are out there, it's inspiring. It's inspiring to me each day as a legislator, as a ranker on the Veterans Committee. It's inspiring to me as a husband and as a father and as a citizen of New York, really, to continue these efforts. So I really applaud everyone for taking the time to talk about their experiences in this press conference, but really what you do every day, reaching out to people. And I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge my friend, Command Sergeant Major Gary Flaherty, who really has led the way and this peer-to-peer program. And he's close to me in my district in Columbia County. And you know, as a senior NCO, he continues to lead the way and lead by example. But I want to thank all of you for being here today. It's a privilege to be here, and it's a privilege to work with all of you. And I look forward to doing more. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblyman. Right now, I'd like to introduce Ulster County Executive and Army veteran Patrick Ryan.
Hey, everyone. Thank you. And nice to see everybody. Hopefully we can maybe do this in person next time for the love of everything holy. But I just want to thank all my fellow vets for sharing really powerful, really personal and difficult to share stories. As everybody said, I see our great coalition here in Ulster County, Gavin, Kevin, Jessica, thank you for sharing. Our Director of Veteran Services, Mark Hazapoli, I want to thank him. And just say, you know, I think everybody on this line, clearly this is deeply personal to us for a whole bunch of reasons. But I think about one of my very good friends, Brian Kavanaugh, who survived 2 combat deployments only to come home and ultimately take his own life and leaving behind 2 young daughters. And I think about him every single day. And I think about, I'm really proud of the momentum we built with this program. To be up to 25 counties now is awesome, but that means there's 37 counties that still don't have it. That means there's hundreds of thousands of vets that might feel totally alone and disconnected right now. So we got to use the momentum to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And I know that's really what we're here to rally to do. So just want to thank everybody who's gotten us this far, but let's use that energy to we'll celebrate for a moment, but then let's keep pushing hard, as I know everybody on this line will do. So count me all in to do that. And just thank everybody for being here.
Thank you, sir. All right, folks, we're just going to move on to speakers right now who represent various organizations across the state and chapters. We'll do quick introductions. And then we will get to questions from press if there are any. First off, from Columbia County, I'd like to introduce Gary Flaherty.
Good morning, everybody. And I want to thank everybody also, and particularly Dana, who's representing us before the conference today. When I was invited to speak, I was thinking about all the things we're doing in Columbia County that I would talk about. But I want to tell you a story that's been going on since Monday night in real time. I got a call from New York State Police, and I'd really like to thank the State Police for working with us on the Dwyer program. But I got a call from the State Police saying they were, 2 of the troopers was en route to the Columbia Hospital to take one of my veterans who had threatened not only suicide, but his roommate at a nursing home. The roommate had kept the TV on, watching all the war stories, and set this guy off. So I got to the hospital and went into the emergency room, And the nurse said he doesn't want to talk to you because he doesn't like this. He doesn't like what's going on in our country. He doesn't like the VA, so he doesn't want to talk with you. I said, let me at least go to his door. I went to the door, said to him that he's a Vietnam vet, combat Marine. And I said to him, well, I'm a combat vet from Vietnam also. And he said, okay, I'll make an exception and I'll talk to you. And as a result, we spent hours talking. And yesterday, I linked him up with the suicide crisis team at the VA. And he's now agreed to let me register him with the VA and get him into mental health counseling up there. So those are the kinds of, that's one story, but those is what impact we have at our level through the Dwyer program. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I'd like to introduce Adam Roach from Dutchess County Veterans Services Coordinator.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having this panel today. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, served in Iraq, Afghanistan. I was an infantry machine gunner. We were one of the first units to go into Iraq in 2003. Started the Dwyer program here in Dutchess in 2016, and now I'm the director for Dutchess County Division of Veteran Services. But I personally can't see this program not being in Dutchess now after the past 5-6 years, for the impact that it has, not just the veterans, but the veterans' families too. I'll share a story. Just recently, a spouse of a veteran came up to us, and every Thanksgiving, they sit down with the family, it's a Vietnam vet, and they say what they're thankful for. And when it came up to the Vietnam vet, he said, I'm thankful for Vet to Vet because they literally saved my life. So it's not just the veterans out there, it's also the family members that we affect also. And I think that's very important also. The Dwyer program here in Dutchess is the platform for the other programs that our county exec, Mark Molinaro, made sure that we have: our HERO program, our housing program, our veteran employment program. So Dwyer is kind of that foundation for everything else that we have here. And if it wasn't for Dwyer, I don't think we would have those programs here in Dutchess. And that's all I really got. And thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Up next, Anthony Kavoris, Veterans Program Director, Mental Health America, Dutchess County.
How you doing? Just introduce myself real quick. I'm a 34+ year veteran combat. My last deployment was to Afghanistan. And when I got out, I realized transitioning was kind of a difficult process. And it's kind of what led me into doing this kind of work. I worked with a couple of other agencies. And when MHA of Dutchess got the Dwyer grant, I was really happy. I jumped on board with them shortly after doing the housing program. And then after Adam left, I took over as the director. I mean, we do so much. I can't even, there's not enough time to describe all the things that we do, but the healing happens with all the programs that the Vet to Vet Dwyer program does. From paint night to game night to bowling to, our sunset picnic, all these things is where the veterans get together. They talk with the other veterans, and that's where the magic happens. And of course, it's getting harder and harder to do all the things because everything's getting more expensive. But, we keep on doing it. We're just doing more with less. You just get a bunch of veterans together and they'll figure out a way to do things. Like my buddy Gavin there and Adam did before me. We'll just get it done. I see so many people here. I know Mark. But like Adam said, if we ever lost this program, I think we would be completely lost in Dutchess County with the veterans. We serve so many veterans every single day. They call us for everything. I mean, they would be devastated without our program. I mean, we help people, get checking accounts, for instance. I mean, it's the day-to-day life things that they need. We have our own pantry here for them. They come to us for food. They come to us to help with medical supplies sometimes, everything. And that's what we do. We literally are someplace for them to go to get what they need as veterans. We desperately need this program to continue. And I thank all the local leaders here that are supporting us. Thank you very much. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have U.S. Air Force veteran, Ulster County VSA Director, Mark Kozapoli.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. It's my pleasure to be able to speak today. I just hearing everybody's stories, it just reminds me of how wonderful it is that we have such a great partnership with our Ulster County Vet to Vet. I'm glad that we were able to get the grant for them just a couple years ago and that they're fully functioning, because together, I truly feel like there's nothing we can't do for veterans. As our community partner, I know that I can turn to them to help when we have veterans in need, and we can work in tandem, and vice versa. I know that they feel the same way about us, and it's such a great relationship that I'm very grateful to have. My last job in the military was as a Command Chief Master Sergeant. So it was my job was to take care of all the troops. And that's how I look at it now. I just take care of the troops. They're just a little bit older now, our veterans. So thank you, everyone. And look forward to helping this program grow even further.
Thank you, sir. Up next, we have U.S. Army veteran and Executive Director of the Hudson Valley National Center for Veterans Reintegration, Kevin Cavini.
Hey, good morning, everyone. As stated, I'm Kevin with the Hudson Valley National Center for Veteran Integration. I want to thank, well, there's a lot of people to thank, right? But most importantly, I want to thank Senator Brooks and his staff for gathering us all here today and sharing the incredible and critical work that this program does for our veteran community. Personally, I would like to thank folks near and dear to my heart here in Ulster County, Senator Hentry for fighting to bring the program in, along with our county executive, Pat Ryan, and of course, Mark Kozapoli over there, who we just listened to, who is definitely a great advocate and community partner here in our Ulster County. These are folks that undoubtedly share a passion to serve our veteran community. We could not do what we do without their support. So thank you. And of course, everyone that we know and love, Gavin Walters, our director of Vet to Vet, an incredible man with passion and tireless dedication to our veterans. So Gavin, thank you. We couldn't do this without you, sir. Most importantly, I would like to thank the creators of the Joseph P. Dwyer Peer Support Project and the family of Joseph Patrick Dwyer. Your vision has given us the hope and assistance to help many veterans. It has given us the opportunity to help and mentor many veterans, our brothers and sisters. We are here, veterans helping veterans. Your vision, your strength has given us the opportunity to continue our service and remember Joseph Patrick Dwyer and why he lived. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, sir.
Up next, a Marine veteran and from the Suffolk County program, I'd like to introduce Melanie Curran.
Thank you. So I am a Marine vet, and I was brought on recently by Air Force veteran Marcel Lease, who I'm sure many of you know. And recently, we had to answer a question to our parent organization about what sort of things happen in these groups, in these peer-to-peer groups. And I want to share with you the answer that Marcel and I came up with. Because I think everyone here knows that the Dwyer program services all veterans. It's very inclusive, it's intergenerational, It affects every demographic, every subset of the veteran experience. So in these groups, we discuss everything from wellness activities and hobbies to reminiscing about our time in the service, which gets people out of their shells and allows bonding. These groups, they're the only socialization many of our vets are able to get all week or all month. I have witnessed respectful and educational conversations about politics between service members that led to deeper understandings between people, which is not something I've ever seen outside veteran peer groups. I have seen veterans learn from one another, swap book, movie, podcast, video game, and TV series recommendations. People have shared their most vulnerable lived experiences in these groups, things that they have kept to themselves for decades on occasion. They've spoken up about experiences with systemic biases, military sexual trauma, post-traumatic stress, mental health issues, and other things as well. Our veterans have asked for validation and affirmation and received it. Veterans have asked for help for the first time and have been greeted with trauma-informed care, non-judgment, affirmations, and support. They have shared struggles and problems with transition with family members in community. We have told jokes and teased each other around branch of service differences. It's always a good fallback. And there's a lot of joy and laughter in these groups, a lot of passion and lively discussion, and a lot of tears, both happy and cathartic. These are just the Dwyer groups. Any additional veteran peer space is a force multiplier for these experiences, but Dwyer has this life-changing ability. People learn new things, try new things, and we get to enjoy an hour of shared humanity amongst fellow veterans. So these conversations in these groups, in these peer-to-peer spaces through the Dwyer program have been and will continue to be literally life-saving, as my fellow veterans have already said today. Veterans get the help they need as a result, whether that help is socialization, validation, affirmation, or compassion, proper mental health care, or medical care referrals, resource referrals, or peer encouragement and celebration. So these spaces are absolutely invaluable to our community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Up next, we have two more speakers. Lance Stenfeld, Onondaga, Broome County.
Hi, good morning. So again, my name is Lance Stenfeld. I'm here to represent for Dwyer, the Onondaga and Broome County. I work for Clear Path for Veterans here in central New York. We have a really large catchment area, 33 counties. We have a lot of different programming. We're about to celebrate our 10-year anniversary coming up here in June as part of our red, white, and blue. So you're all welcome to come on out. We would love to have you be part of that celebration. And our philosophy here at ClearPath is we're meeting our veterans, we're making them feel welcome, well, and whole. Those are our goals as that kind of wraparound services as in the peer fashion. Some of our core programs, we have canine training. If you recall in the video we watched not long ago, there was some trainers that had the ClearPath logo on their shirt, and there was some veterans training with their dogs. So we provided those pictures. So that was our first core program that we brought online. And of course, we have the peer mentor program, military family program and programming. We have employment programming, we have wellness programming. And I would be remiss in mentioning we have a culinary department. It's kind of woven into all that we do. Every Wednesday, for example, we have a canteen lunch that veterans can come, feel welcome, gather, chat each other up. We have a great professional chef and amazing volunteers that make this happen every single Wednesday. So from the bottom of our heart, we humbly invite everybody on this call. If you're in the central New York area, please come to our canteen lunch. We'd love to have you. We'd love to have you come out to our red, white, and blue celebration of our 10-year anniversary coming up here in June. And as far as myself, I just want to share, we heard some great testimonies today. very heart moving. I myself, I'm a 22-year Army combat medic retiree. I did 5 overseas tours, 3 Afghan, Iraq, and 1 in Kosovo peacekeeping. So it seems to be a reoccurring MOS theme in today's meeting. We all seem to be medics. Right, Jessica? Thank you so much for your story. I really appreciate that. But the overall thing I want to leave everybody with today, so as being a peer for 4.5 years and really a lifetime commitment to serving the people I care the most about and I'm the most passionate in serving for, if you count my service career and peer work, close to 30 years in this industry, if you will. I want to share this one kind of thought with everybody on the call. The biggest common theme I notice in every peer case or every interaction with every other veteran in my professional capacity, they just want to be heard. They want their stories to be heard. There are those that don't feel like their needs have been met. They've been ignored, forgotten about. But the reoccurring theme overwhelmingly that I have noticed is our veterans want to be heard. They want their story heard. And the overwhelming appreciation that somebody that's worn their boots is there for them to walk shoulder to shoulder and help them navigate through some of the difficulties they may be having. I mean, I just see an overwhelming appreciation for the fact that all the peers are themselves veterans and can relate firsthand. And again, I think just to end that thought, they really appreciate where we've worn the boots. And so thank you to everybody on this call, all of our champions. This group, to me, is a champion of veteran cause. You're fighting every day for this program and to make our services better in New York. So thank you, everybody, for your time. And again, please come to ClearPath. We welcome the visit. So
thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our final speaker for today is from Monroe County, Nick Stefanovic.
Thank you. I'm going to speed talk here. My name is Nick Stefanovic. I'm a Marine Corps combat veteran. I understand the importance of thinking outside the box. When I returned home, I really struggled as well. Clinical medicine has its place, but it's not going to solve the issues that our veterans are facing. And I think that this program is by far the most important programming that New York State does for veterans. I want to thank County Executive Adam Bello for his support of the program. I want to also just mention a couple of things, the challenges that we've seen in the last year. COVID over the last 2 years has exacerbated the issues veterans face, specifically substance abuse and mental health. And I want to thank Senator Summer Brook for her support of this program as we face those challenges with COVID. It is imperative that this programming continue. People continue meeting face to face and they continue doing these activities. And I think we've done a really good job for that, and that it not be interrupted. And I want to specifically thank Senator Brooks and his staff for their assistance during that time and their advocacy for continuing this programming and making sure that those veterans were able to continue getting this service. A few of the senators have mentioned the funding structure for this service. I think the strength from this programming comes within that funding structure. The state funneling the funding through the county VSAs is very important. The county VSAs work very closely with our partners in our counties. We're 5 minutes away from those places, and that really gives a strong foundation to this program, and it allows us to choose wisely who we're partnering with. Monroe County, we partner with Compeer. I want to thank Sarah Passamani and Tracy Lowe Temple for executing this funding and doing it well. And like everybody else has said, I've heard numerous times from our veterans that have gone through this program that they would not be here today if it were not for that this programming. And I think the most important thing that has happened regarding this program is getting the funding in the executive budget. So anybody in elected office that had anything to do with that, I know our delegates, Assemblywoman Sarah Clark, Assemblyman Harry Bronson, and Senator Brook had a lot to do with that. And that makes it so that we don't have to fight for this every year. So very appreciative of all their help. Thank you to all my colleagues, especially to the veterans who spoke today.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to thank everyone that was involved here today, both behind the scenes and up front for all the efforts that they've made to pull this together. Obviously, this is an incredible program that needs to be focused on. Since we don't have any questions from the press at this moment and we are running out of time, what I'm going to do is once again post my contact information for any media follow-ups or any questions or anyone that needs further information. Please feel free to reach out to me, Joe Agavino from Senator Brooks's office, agavino@nysenate.gov. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, very much. And we hope that you have a wonderful day.